a saga of financial expertise, strategic alliances, and the establishment of a banking empire that would reverberate throughout the ages. Allow me to introduce you to the grand chronicle of the Rothschilds, where ambition crossed with legacy and the realms of influence and finance intermingled throughout the annals of time. Origins of Amschel Rothschild, tracing the roots. In the narrow streets of 18th century Frankfurt, Germany, a place where the echoes of limited opportunities reverberated throughout the modest shops. Against this backdrop, Mayor Amschel Rothschild, originally a textile trader, embarked on a journey that would reshape the course of his family's destiny. Born into a world where Frankfurt's Jewish community faced restrictions on land ownership and various trades, Meyer's early days were marked by the challenge of carving a path in a society that curtailed his options. Unable to own land or engage in certain professions, he initially followed his family's footsteps and traded textiles. However, discontent with the limited prospects, Mayer sought alternative ventures with higher profit margins. Appointment of Mayor Amschel Rothschild in the court of Prince William. His breakthrough came when he discovered the lucrative world of trading gold coins and antiques. Mayer's shrewdness as a court agent, akin to today's stockbrokers, became evident as he employed a strategy known as front-running. This involved buying gold coins using borrowed money and selling them to his main client, Prince William of Hesse-Kassel. Mayer's financial acumen propelled him to amass a colossal fortune and secure the position of the investment manager for Prince William's wealth. Rothschild's banking evolution. Yet, for Mayer Rothschild, this was just the beginning. His vision extended beyond individual wealth. He aspired to establish a legacy, a family dynasty that would transcend generations and outlast nations. To achieve this, he understood the need to transition into banking, a move that brought legitimacy and laid the foundation for the Rothschild banking dynasty. As the 1700s drew to a close, Mayer Rothschild stood as the richest man in Frankfurt. However, he envisioned a legacy that surpassed mere wealth. Diaspora of Rothschild family. With an eye on the future, Mayer dispatched his sons to key European capitals, including Vienna, Naples, Paris, and the thriving hub of London. Little did he know that this strategic move would set the stage for the Rothschilds to become a dominant force, not only in finance, but also in shaping the trajectory of world events. Nathan Rothschild's success in London. In 1798, Nathan, the third son of Mayor Amschel Rothschild, set foot on the cobbled streets of London with an unyielding determination. His journey began in the gritty world of textile trading. Nathan's success was not merely a stroke of luck, but a testament to his visionary investment strategies. In the hallowed halls of finance, he became synonymous with shrewd decision-making and calculated risks. Beyond his exploits in finance, Nathan Rothschild was an innovator. His involvement in industries ranging from railroads to mining showcased a keen eye for emerging trends, solidifying his legacy as more than just a banker. The secret weapon of Nathan Rothschild. His foray into government bonds became the stuff of legend. Nathan's strategic moves in the bond market during the Napoleonic Wars elevated him to unprecedented heights. He knew the outcome of the Battle of Waterloo before the government did, thanks to his vast network of couriers. As the news of the British victory reached London, Nathan leveraged the situation to his advantage. He orchestrated a brilliant coup in the stock market with nerves of steel, capitalizing on the prevailing uncertainty. Rothschild family unity. As Mayer Rothschild's life journey reached its natural conclusion, the family found themselves at the crossroads of grief and opportunity. Mayer, a visionary patriarch, had laid the groundwork for a financial legacy that transcended borders. His death in 1812 catalyzed the Rothschild siblings to forge ahead and honor their father's vision. United by blood and a shared ambition, the five Rothschild brothers, Amschel, Solomon, Nathan, Carl, and James, stood together, their familial bonds evolving into a force that would redefine finance. Mayer Rothschild's succession. In the wake of Mayer's passing, the brothers orchestrated a seamless succession plan. Amschel Rothschild, the eldest, assumed the wheel, steering the family through the challenging post-Napoleonic era. Each brother brought a unique skill set, from financial acumen to diplomatic finesse, creating a symbiotic synergy that propelled the Rothschild name to new heights. Their collaborative approach and unwavering commitment to each other transformed the family into a financial powerhouse. Rothschild's banking in the 19th century. Societal upheavals and geopolitical transformations marked the early 19th century. However, the Rothschilds, drawing strength from their familial bonds, saw these challenges as opportunities further to cement their place in the financial echelons of Europe. In 1814, the Duke of Wellington achieved victory after victory against Napoleon and decided to take the fight to France. However, he faced a challenge: the need for a substantial amount of French coins for various expenses. The situation reflected a time of considerable financial strain for Wellington's campaign. In prolonged campaigns like Wellington's in the Iberian Peninsula, more sophisticated procurement methods became necessary, especially for purchasing supplies and paying troops. Recognizing this unique opportunity, Nathan saw the potential to elevate his bank to unprecedented heights by meeting the Duke's demanding requirements. Nathan downplayed the task's difficulty, recounting an instance when he had £800,000 worth of gold from the East India Company to sell in London. He seized the opportunity, purchasing all the gold with the knowledge that the Duke of Wellington would need it. Handling the logistics, Nathan sent the gold to France, and this venture was his most successful business endeavor. Rothschild's wartime profits. As Europe became a battleground in the mid-1800s, countries increasingly relied on the foreign exchange market to fund wars. The House of Rothschild capitalized on this, turning wars into profitable businesses. Their network of banking houses provided a competitive edge in the emerging modern banking system, allowing them to charge high fees, sometimes up to 8%, for currency exchange services. However, commissions were just a fraction of their income. The Rothschilds understood the significance of information and speed in finance. They became early successful forex traders, using private carriers, well-trained horses, and even pigeons to stay ahead of competitors. Currency speculation emerged as their most profitable business, showcasing the Rothschilds' prowess in the financial world. Nathan Rothschild's death and legacy. The London house keeps raking in profits, making Nathan Rothschild the wealthiest man globally. However, even the most influential figure in finance cannot conquer the ultimate foe. Unexpectedly, on July 28, 1836, Nathan Rothschild, the world's richest man, passed away at 58. This event is shocking as the Rothschild family is known for their longevity. When Nathan passed away, his mother was still alive and lived beyond 90 years. The London Times, not often given to superlatives, remarked, "The death of Nathan Mayer Rothschild is a significant event for the city and perhaps for Europe in a long time. No operations comparable to his have existed in Europe until now." Legacy of Nathan Rothschild. Nathan's death substantially impacts the market, but the House of Rothschild persists without him. The family's banks continue to thrive thanks to their decentralized banking system. However, a new leader is needed, and Nathan's youngest brother, James Rothschild, in Paris, assumes the role of commander-in-chief for the family dynasty. The pressure on James as a Rothschild is immense. Although government bonds and war financing remain profitable for the family, increased competition erodes their profit margins, saturating the playing field. Railroads expansion. In a quest to bring renewed glory to his family, James Rothschild seeks a fresh advantage. Unlike his three more submissive siblings, James, the youngest brother, is Nathan's intellectual and temperamental equal. His superior education sets him apart. Despite acknowledging Nathan's leadership, James doesn't display excessive deference. James Rothschild shifts his focus to a burgeoning industry, the railroads, to propel the family forward. The early 1800s witnessed a rapid expansion of railroads in Europe, beginning with England's Stockton-Darlington line in 1825. Railroads revolutionized transportation, fueled industrial growth, boosted trade, and reshaped landscapes, connecting major European cities and regions. Throughout the 1840s, the Rothschilds financed numerous railway ventures, reaped substantial profits from commissions, and traded railroad bonds and stocks. Clever with their finances, they often leverage other people's money to minimize risks. James Rothschild played a significant part in what is known as the Syndicate in France during this period. By now, the Rothschilds transcend their role as mere bankers, with the bank still at the core of the family business, generating funds for investments in assets experiencing increasing demand. These include metallurgy, mining, and above all, railways. Challenges faced by Rothschild in the 19th century. Amid the soaring profits for the House of Rothschild, the 19th century brought about significant disparities between the wealthy elite and the struggling average citizens. This era witnessed industrialists driven by the pursuit of quick fortunes, often pushing the boundaries of ethical practices. By the 1840s, the French government, grappling with consecutive wartime defeats, plunged into deep debt, intensifying economic turmoil and public resentment towards both the government and its financiers. By this critical period, the French brand of the Rothschilds Bank, led by James Rothschild, stood on the verge of collapse. Desperate to salvage the institution, James turned to his nephew in London, Lionel, son of Nathan Rothschild, for help. The French Revolution had earlier brought the Rothschild houses in Vienna and Paris to the brink of bankruptcy, necessitating assistance from their counterparts in London to bail them out. Having been in the banking business for almost 2 generations, Lionel faces a significant risk and potential loss in bailing out his uncle's bank. Changing fortunes of Rothschild. However, prioritizing family unity, Lionel's London bank arranges a loan, averting the collapse of the French branch. Yet, Lionel's commitment goes beyond family ties. He strives to uplift his people and combat ethnic prejudice. Believing that entering government is a means to eliminate such prejudice, Lionel, armed with his wealth, strategically uses the press to support his election campaign. By the mid-19th century, most restrictions on British Jews had been lifted, and Lionel, the Liberal candidate for the City of London, won the election in August 1847. However, a hurdle arises as Lionel, in a monumental move for the House of Rothschild, refuses to recite the oath of the Holy Scriptures for his full induction into the Commons. Instead, he insists on swearing solely on the Old Testament. This act underscores Lionel's commitment to his principles and marks a significant moment for the family. As James Rothschild ages, Lionel gradually assumes the role of the family's patriarch, cementing the House of Rothschild's influence not just in finance, but also in the political landscape of the time. But what Lionel didn't realize was that a new banking empire poised to challenge their dominance. Rise of the House of Morgan. In the late 1800s, the House of Rothschild, long regarded as the dominant force in European finance, faced a formidable challenge from a rising banking empire led by Junius Morgan. Junius, a mature and business-minded figure, took control of the merchant banking firm George Peabody and Company in 1864. Recognizing the need to play a role in government financing to compete at the highest level, Junius seized an opportunity during the geopolitical tensions in 1867. France attempted to purchase Luxembourg from the Netherlands, leading to conflict with Prussia, orchestrated by the strategically ruthless Otto von Bismarck. War is declared, and Junius Morgan, unlike other major banking houses, sees this as a unique opportunity, not necessarily dependent on the war's outcome, but on France's ability to repay loans. Using his financial acumen, Junius raised over £10 million for the French army through his syndicate, demonstrating a keen understanding of France's economic resilience and efficient tax collection system. Despite the war resulting in a decisive German victory, the French government honored its financial commitments, repaying the bonds in 1873. Junius Morgan reaped substantial gains, propelling his firm into the upper echelons of government financing. As the House of Morgan became a formidable force in finance, the House of Rothschild faced internal challenges following the death of James Rothschild in 1868. The younger generations of Rothschilds became fragmented, and to rebuild their prestige, they ventured beyond Europe, investing in Egypt and financing Indian railroads. However, they recognized the need for a more expansive marketplace to reclaim their historical success. Rise of American industry and Rothschild. During the same period, the United States experienced significant growth from the 1850s to the 1870s. The Industrial Revolution, westward expansion, and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869 contributed to this transformative era. Industrial magnates like Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, and John D. Rockefeller emerged, shaping American business with innovations and new organizational structures. While the story of America unfolds with the rise of these industrial titans, the House of Rothschild navigates challenges and changes in strategy to maintain its influence. As old empires fade, a new, more powerful empire takes center stage, marking a dynamic shift in the global economic landscape. The United States, now a leading global economy, owes much of its success to visionary entrepreneurs who pioneered entire industries, propelling the nation into a leadership position on the world stage. The House of Rothschild, initially underestimating America as a land of unpredictability, shifts its stance, witnessing the ascent of the House of Morgan and the emergence of Wall Street as the new global financial epicenter. Joint venture of Rothschild and Morgans. The turning point came on May 9, 1893, when the booming railroad market collapsed after decades of growth, triggering one of the worst depressions in history, the Panic of 1893. President Grover Cleveland, committed to maintaining the gold standard, faces challenges as the US dollar struggles to assert itself globally against the British pound. In dire need of gold reserves, President Cleveland turned to J. Pierpont Morgan, now leading the House of Morgan after the passing of Junius Morgan. With the federal government days away from depleting its gold reserves, Morgan recognized the impending disaster for both the nation and his banking empire. In a strategic move, he seeks assistance from the House of Rothschild, a family with extensive gold reserves accumulated over 3 decades through strategic investments in mining operations for gold and silver. J.P. Morgan raises $65 million through government bonds and negotiates with the Rothschilds, securing the purchase of 3.5 million ounces of gold for the Federal Reserve. In an era where banks favored government dealings due to their reliability in debt repayment and ability to collect taxes, the collaboration between Morgan and Rothschild made their bond offering highly coveted. Public interest was such that the entire gold bond offering sold out within a mere 30 minutes of its public offering, marking a significant milestone in their partnership. Rothschild and World War I. As the 1800s transitioned into the early 1900s, America emerged on the global stage as a formidable new empire, a superpower rivaling any in history. Alongside, the Rothschilds achieved successful business expansion, both in America and worldwide. However, the old European empires braced for a significant showdown across the Atlantic. By the early 1900s, tensions among European powers reached a boiling point, fueled by imperial rivalries, military buildups, and intricate alliances. Despite the looming threat of potential catastrophe for businesses, the House of Rothschild identifies an opportunity amid the growing tensions. Natty Rothschild, in charge of the London Rothschild Bank, advocates for the British government to enhance its naval capabilities. As European nations intensify military expenditures, the need for funding becomes paramount. Unbeknownst to the Rothschilds, the impending war proves to be more brutal and deadly than any encountered before. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary triggered a full-blown conflict in Europe. The Serbians, rejecting the rule of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, committed the act that served as the catalyst for the war. This conflict introduced trench warfare and innovative weaponry and resulted in staggering casualties, with an estimated 10 million soldiers and 7 million civilians dead. Morgan House outshines Rothschild's dominance. World War I marked a turning point for the Rothschild family as members aligned with opposing sides. Despite surviving the war and profiting from war financing, their prominence is overshadowed by the ascendant banking dynasty in America, the House of Morgan, now led by J. Pierpont Morgan's son, Jack Morgan. The Morgan Bank assumed a pivotal role as the primary financier for the U.S. government during World War I, securing funds through war bonds and providing crucial loans to European allies. By 1935, there were suggestions that the Rothschilds' heyday was waning. Once deeply involved in the family business, the intellectual prowess of the next generation of Rothschild men takes a different course, signaling a shift in the family's trajectory. Rothschild family's post-World War I challenges. After the conclusion of World War I, the House of Rothschild underwent a period of disorder. Different banking divisions pursued distinct objectives and became more integrated into the countries where they operated. Simultaneously, Europe experienced a surge in anti-Semitic sentiment fueled by economic hardships and political unrest. As prominent Jewish bankers, the Rothschild family faces heightened scrutiny and hostility. In the aftermath of its defeat, Germany grapples with one of its most severe economic downturns. A new leader capitalizes on the anger of the German public, swiftly rising to the position of chancellor. World War II. This ascent threatened the House of Rothschild, especially its German banking branches. In 1939, merely 21 years after the end of World War I, the largest war in human history erupted. In the spring of 1940, Hitler secured victories, with Denmark and Norway quickly falling under occupation. The German army continued its sweep through the Netherlands and Belgium. Despite Europe's desperate stance in France, it proved no match for German military might, leading to Hitler's arrival in Paris by June. Britain becomes the next target, and if Hitler conquers Europe, the House of Rothschild faces imminent demise. As some Rothschild members engage in resistance against the Nazi occupation, many others flee Europe to escape persecution, seeking exile in safer countries. When German tanks rolled into Paris in 1940, the French Rothschilds found themselves in grave danger. The older members, Edward, Robert, and Maurice, escape, finding refuge through various paths and stops in the United States or England. The family endures significant financial and personal losses as their assets are seized and properties confiscated during this tumultuous period. Post-war reconstruction of Rothschild family. On May 7, 1945, General Eisenhower announced the surrender of Germany's forces to the United Nations, marking a triumph for freedom across Europe. As the Rothschild dynasty faces increasing fragmentation, N.M. Rothschild of London undertakes the formidable task of rebuilding and charting its course. N.M. Rothschild & Sons' fundamental strength lies in government financing, a cornerstone strategy embraced by the Rothschilds for generations. Collaborating closely with governments to fund significant projects, the Rothschilds believed that fostering solid relationships with influential nations ensured enduring success for their business. Rather than pursuing aggressive expansion, Rothschild preserves its business model as an exclusive entity, catering to elites while steering clear of public scrutiny. By the 1970s, a potential media tycoon sought assistance from N.M. Rothschild. This individual was Robert Maxwell, whose journey included serving in the British Army during World War II, subsequent involvement in British intelligence, and later ventures into the publishing industry. In the 1950s and 1960s, Maxwell acquired various British publishing companies, notably Pergamon Press and Mirror Group newspapers. Maxwell's early life, marked by tragedy and poverty, fueled his determination to escape destitution. To expand his business, he sought the substantial capital offered by influential entities like the Rothschilds. Rothschild family feud. In the 1980s, Robert Maxwell's investments appeared successful, but turmoil brewed within N.M. Rothschild. Lord Victor Rothschild and his son Jacob clashed with their cousin, Sir Evelyn de Rothschild. This period witnessed significant changes in the banking world, with larger banks absorbing smaller ones to create mega banks. The 1980s also introduced new financial instruments like derivatives and options, offering enhanced profit opportunities and improved bank risk management. Jacob Rothschild advocates adapting to modern corporate strategies and pursuing aggressive expansion, aligning with the evolving financial landscape. However, Sir Evelyn, leading N.M. Rothschild and Sons, insists on preserving the family's absolute control by maintaining complete ownership. He emphasizes that the Rothschilds' bank should always be wholly owned by the family, even if it requires short-term sacrifices. Robert Maxwell's mysterious demise. Amidst this family conflict, a major scandal erupts, casting a shadow over the Rothschilds' reputation. The scandal involves the mysterious death of Robert Maxwell, a millionaire newspaper publisher who disappeared from his private yacht near the Canary Islands in 1991. Investigations reveal that Maxwell misappropriated hundreds of millions from employees' pension funds to sustain his enterprises and lavish lifestyle. The circumstances surrounding Maxwell's demise raise questions about whether it was a suicide or an accident, adding complexity to the scandal. While the Rothschilds' involvement in Maxwell's death remains unclear, the event tarnishes their reputation. Sir Evelyn de Rothschild, however, sees it as reinforcing the bank's need for discretion and privacy. Rothschild's role in creating Israel. Apart from making a fortune, the Rothschild family played a notable role in the early stages of the Zionist movement and the creation of the State of Israel. This involvement can be traced back to the late 19th century and continued into the early 20th century. In the late 1800s, Theodor Herzl, a key figure in the Zionist movement, sought support for the establishment of a Jewish homeland. The Rothschild family, particularly Baron Edmund James de Rothschild, supported Jewish settlement in Palestine. Baron Edmund James de Rothschild, known as the Benefactor, provided substantial financial aid to Jewish settlers in Palestine. His contributions were instrumental in establishing agricultural colonies, fostering economic development, and promoting the idea of a Jewish homeland. As tensions in the region escalated, and with the Balfour Declaration in 1917 expressing British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, the Rothschilds continued to contribute to the Zionist cause. Baron Edmund de Rothschild's financial support extended to various projects, including constructing infrastructure, schools, and settlements. The Rothschild family's involvement went beyond financial contributions. They actively shaped the landscape of pre-state Israel. After World War II and the horrors of the Holocaust, international support for a Jewish homeland gained momentum. The Rothschilds continued their commitment to the Zionist cause. Baron Edmund de Rothschild's grandson, James Armand de Rothschild, was involved in diplomatic efforts and lobbied for the recognition of Israel. The State of Israel was officially established on May 14, 1948. While the Rothschild family's direct influence diminished over time, their early support played a crucial role in laying the groundwork for Jewish settlement and development in Palestine, contributing to the realization of the Zionist dream and the establishment of the State of Israel. Modern Era and Diversification. As of 2023, the Rothschild family has expanded its ventures, venturing beyond traditional banking into diverse sectors. Their portfolio now includes investment banking, wealth and asset management, private equity, and philanthropy. The original banking establishments in Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, London, and Naples, once the cornerstone of the Rothschild banking dynasty, have adapted to the changing financial landscape. While banking remains integral, the family's influence extends across a broader spectrum of financial services. Throughout history, the Rothschild family has been willing to pursue additional financial opportunities for increased wealth. However, when it comes to preserving their family legacy, they have shown the ability to forego certain lucrative prospects. This long-term perspective is both highly regarded and at times intimidating. Wrapping up the incredible journey of the Rothschild family, have you ever heard about the man who saved America from a financial collapse? Click here to explore the fascinating story of J.P. Morgan, the individual who wielded immense control over America's economy and prevented a national crisis. Dive into this captivating narrative of power, strategy, and the profound impact on America's financial history. Hit subscribe and let's dive into J.P. Morgan's life. See you there in a click.